Look at the picture. See the skull. Visible Frankenstein controls. The Brain Thoughts broadcasting radio. The Frankenstein earphone radio. The latest new skull reforming to contain all Frankenstein controls.
Today's episode of Frankenstein Control is brought to you by the new Tim Allen movie hitting theaters this summer, Corn Chips Johansson and the Adventure to Dick Mountain. It's a riveting tale about how an aging dad-like figure is unapproving of his kids going on the internets all the time. And he tells them that the real true secret to having a true boomer time is to visit Dick Mountain. So he takes his family on a wild, wacky fucking road trip all the way across America in a camper that nobody in the audience can actually afford. Also, his job is he picks up moth wings, and he makes $700,000 a year.
Yeah. I mean, that's about the market rate for a job like that.
Oh, that's perfect.
And they go across country in the adventure of the ultimate Americana destination of your Dick Mountain, which is basically just a gigantic cock with the face of George Washington on it. And it says he owns slaves, but that's okay because I'm white.
Oof.
And he takes his family there, and they learn to love, laugh, and avoid electronics along the way.
Oh.
And then when they get home, they Tim Allen makes a bunker, and he hides his family in it. It says, "You're my granddaughter now." And there we go. That's Corn Chip Johansson's Adventure to Dick Mountain, coming to theaters this summer. Enjoy it, Tim Allen.
You know, I think you get a similar experience if you take PCP and then watch The Road. It's the same movie.
You need to watch The Road, but listen to but mute it and listen to an episode of Home Improvement.
Yeah.
In headphones.
Oh God, you got to sync it up like Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Welcome to Frankenstein Control, everybody. I'm my own grandpa, Taylor Russell. To my right is Ada Ship.
I'm Ada Ship, and I'm going to refrain from saying something weird and dark.
And in front of me, as always, is B-Rye.
I'm B-Rye, and I'm going to try to do the same and fail.
Welcome to another week of Frankenstein Control, folks. Boy, do we have quite a show for you today. We're going to talk about all kinds of wacky shit. You just wait as I reach into our bag of inspirations. Oh, what will it be? What will I pull out of the magic hat?
Probably a movie pitch starring
Rami Malek.
Yeah, that him.
Well, looks like I picked out our latest movie pitch. Wouldn't you know it? Wow. Ada, you were very astute.
Yes.
But it's not starring Rembrandt Malcolm.
Rami Malek?
That's the one. It's not starring Rembrandt Malcolm. It's starring John Heder.
He's going to crank out a John Heder?
Everybody's... In fact, that's what the movie is called. Creak out a heater.
From the people who brought you Peeing John Malkovich.
Okay, so Creak Out a Heater is the story of John Heder as himself. He's coming to grips with the fact that Napoleon Dynamite was a long time ago, and he really hasn't found an adequate vehicle since. He's kind of sad, and so he decides. This basically is just a recreation of Into the Wild starring John Heder.
Okay.
Where he decides
Does he die in a bus at the end?
Yes, he decides to go live in a bus in Alaska. He wants to cut out the middleman and just live in a bus. But the adventure part of it is trying to get a bus to Alaska while he lives in, get this, Orlando, Florida. He has to go across the country, and guess what? The bus doesn't work. Boing. He has to find a way to get his broken-ass bus all the way up to Alaska. What?
What the fuck are you talking about?
This is our movie pitch.
Okay,
I need you to help me out.
Yeah, I will help you out. Werner Herzog is in it. Werner Herzog voices his pet cat, which is his like plucky, sarcastic, like, oh, this guy, he's trying to go to Alaska. But it's Werner Herzog.
Can you believe the sheer audacity of this guy?
It's also a Coen Brothers movie and features Paul Giamatti as a frightening sociopath.
And he eats.
Yes.
Because Paul Giamatti eats in every one of his movies. Every single one. His best scene is where he's like noshing on something. And in that vein, Paul Giamatti is, he's a dark figure, you said. Paul Giamatti is John Heder's disapproving father.
Okay.
Who chases him across country.
Yes.
Murdering
in the Wienermobile. Because he's got to eat something, so he's the heir. Little did we know that John Heder is actually the heir to the Oscar Mayer fortune. And his name is John Heder Oscar Mayer. And Paul Giamatti is Walter Oscar Mayer. No, actually, his name was Oscar Mayer.
And his last name is Myers. So he's Oscar Mayer Myers. And he insists that you say the full name anytime you address him.
Even if you're his son.
Yes.
Or he'll murder you and make you into a hot dog.
Yeah.
Which he does to many people throughout the movie. Because
hence the cornerstone of the Oscar Myers fortune is that they save a ton of money on pig parts and horseshoes by just using people to supplement their dog meat.
He follows
horseshoes?
Yeah, horseshoes. That's like the main
melted
part.
Melted down horseshoes. Not like the hooves, not the glue part of the hooves, just the straight up metal ass horseshoes, tacks and all.
Yes.
Pried off.
Yeah, if you ever bite down on a hot dog and there's something hard, that's part of the melted down horseshoe slag.
But
horseshoe slag.
The Oscar Mayer, the Oscar Mayer cubed man follows the long tradition of Coen Brothers sociopaths. That there has to be one in every movie. That's
true. That's true. You got me there.
Good old Anton Chigurh and Gary Grimsrud from Fargo and. Actually, the Big Lebowski didn't have any sociopaths in it. It did have Peter Stormare, who was, the aforementioned Gary Grimsrud in Fargo, but he played the doofy nihilist guy who's like, "Where's the money, Lebowski?" before Walter hit him in the stomach with a bowling ball.
Now, this is a Coen Brothers movie, so we need some form of yodeling at one point or another in the movie.
Yeah.
I believe that it'll be supplied diegetically, as John Heder is well, you know what? Before we're jumping the gun here, we need to find a way to get John Heder out of Florida.
Okay, so he's got his busted up bus.
He's got the busted bus.
He wants to go to
Alaska. He's got
Alaska.
his wisecracking Werner Herzog cat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got his abusive dad. Why? Okay, so why...
Is he emotionally or physically abusive?
He is emotionally abusive, and he can't be physically abusive because, plot twist, Paul Giamatti in this film is a head in a jar.
Okay.
He's powered by a hot dog reactor robot.
Like you want to be?
No, well, see, first off, I would be powered by mallow cups. And second of all, he's not the kind of robot that you want to be. His robot body is not like it's not like a Terminator style body. No. To Paul Giamatti is a head in a jar on top of a large Roomba. A hot dog powered Roomba.
It's those like weird scanning robots that roll around at Walmart, if you've ever seen those.
Whoa, they got scanning robots?
I don't know what the fuck it does, but it's like taller than a person, and it's got like this stick that just has lights on it, and it'll just like scan around. Like, what the fuck is this?
His consciousness is downloaded into an Asimo, and he routinely falls down small flights of stairs.
You know what? Actually, let's go with that. That's great. I love that. I want a cute Paul Giamatti, angry, abusive robot.
Who's also a sociopath.
That can't fall.
Who also falls down the stairs.
That's the big gag of the film, is Paul Giamatti always be falling downstairs.
And he's routinely dunked on by those frightening Boston Dynamics robots that can now do parkour. Stop giving them more dangerous skills, Boston Dynamics.
No, give
You're
them
begging
more.
for the...
Give them more. We don't deserve the planet.
Yeah.
I saw a really well done parody of the Boston Dynamics videos. Like it was like, I think it was animated. It was very small. If it was like larger in like resolution, you probably would have like spotted the fact that it was crappy CGI. But it was like good enough to fool you while you're scrolling. And it showed like a Boston Dynamics style robot doing all the sort of impressive backflips and jumps and stuff that they do now. And then one of them, it's like demonstrating more and more complex behaviors until finally it's like shooting a gun at targets and it's like hitting all the targets dead on, and you're like, why did you give it that? That's a terrible terrible fucking idea.
Like one of the scientists yells that to the other?
No, it's just you as watching this.
Okay.
You're like, wow, this thing would be really fucking dangerous if it ever it has like a Glock and it's shooting it.
Tell you what, let's take, life imitates art and art imitates life. Paul Giamatti Osimo has a Glock 9 duct taped to one of its hands.
Of course, why wouldn't he?
And it discharges every time it falls down the stairs. Randomly ricochets and wounding an innocent bystander.
Yes.
That's the reason the bus doesn't work, is because it's been shot so many times on accident.
Yeah,
the bullets are in some way like through magic or perhaps a stand drawn to the bus. So any
He's a fucking stand user.
yeah, this is now a crossover with,
This is
with
a
JoJo's.
Hirohiko Rocky.
Yeah,
crossover.
Rocky is the producer on this.
Sex Pistols is Paul Giamatti Osimo's stand.
Well, it's not it's not Paul Giamatti that has the stand. It's the bus.
Whoa!
And its ability is to draw bullets to it.
I can't follow this fucking thread anymore. I'm completely lost at this point.
So am I.
I can only imagine that at one point after like the third or fourth accidental maiming, when the Asimo Giamatti falls down the fucking stairs and makes the gun go off, the slide stays back, indicating that the Glock is now out of ammo and people should be safe. And then like Heder walks up and just wordlessly reloads it for him for no productive reason whatsoever.
Wait, John Heder?
Yeah.
He walks up.
And he just reaches into his pocket and pulls out a spare magazine and inserts it into the Glock.
Oh my fucking
And
god.
reloads it for him. And he's just like, here, for you, father. I don't remember what John Heder sounds like.
I still love you.
Let's talk about something else. This is too insane.
Yeah, so we got to get this show on the road. We got to get this bus moving.
Yeah!
So
That's the fucking spirit, ain't it?
Werner Herzog cat, who is named Sprinkles. Sprinkles has some like connections from the outside from his time as like an alley cat, and so he knows like a whole bunch of illicit mechanics that will do illegal bus work to this bus, because the whole John Heder's whole problem is that he has the money to fix the bus, but the bus is a criminal. It's an evil bus, and no mechanic worth their salt and their licenses would dare to work on it to repair this criminal bus. The Sprinkles the cat helps John Heder
Through the feline underground.
Yeah, through the feline underground.
The bus's vanity plate is also something vaguely anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
Oh my fucking god.
it's just H8JEW.
Yeah.
And that's the bus. This is never addressed by the movie. It's just implied that the bus might actually be a Nazi.
Yeah.
And regardless, it's definitely evil.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The mechanic that Sprinkles hires is
Steve Buscemi, naturally.
it's
Well, it is a Coen Brothers film.
it's Scarlett Johansson.
Oh.
Yeah, she's playing a guy,
Oh.
not a trans guy like in that movie that got canceled. She's
Yeah.
she's just playing a guy.
Just a straight up guy.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I can fix your car, but you gotta give me $3.
And John Heder's like, oh,
I don't have
$3 at home.
I don't have $3. I spent my $3 on mac and cheese, and then I ate all the mac and cheese, and then
You did not save any mac and cheese for me.
and then he's like, that's one of the meanest things I've ever heard. Says Scarlett Johansson, one of the meanest things I've ever heard. You go and buy macaroni and cheese and you don't share it with your cat. I like this evil. You get this repair for free.
And so that's how they get out of Florida. They finally manage to get out of the panhandle.
Johnny Heder's just wearing his Vote for Pedro shirt and wearing the same, like, he has the same hair. He just is, he looks exactly like Napoleon Dynamite, but he looks like his current age, and that's the only difference.
He doesn't wear the glasses.
Yeah.
That's the only, yeah.
Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite with contacts. So anyway, Sprinkles, the evil bus.
No, the Sprinkles is the cat.
Well, no, I'm saying Sprinkles the cat, the evil bus, and John Heder are making their way out of the Florida state line, and that's when they go past the state line thing, and then you just see the opening of the eyes of Paul Giamatti Osimo. and the Wienermobile pulls out from behind the state line sign, and this music's like, dun, 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 and he just starts gunning after him. And then Sprinkles notices it first, and he's like, John, there's a Wienermobile behind us. What could this mean? And John's like, oh, it's my dad, gosh. And he fucking starts, and he fucking guns it in this evil car. And a chase scene ensues. Several bullets are discharged from Paul Giamatti's duct tape Glock.
There's a bunch of staircases inside the Wienermobile that he falls down repeatedly.
And as they're going through their chase, they attract numerous law enforcement figures who start giving chase as well. And as they're gunning through, right, they just got out of Florida, see, and they're going in Alabama, which I don't even know if it borders Florida because I failed school.
Yeah, they should be entering a state that does not at all border, like South Dakota or something.
Wait, no, this is perfect. Yeah, there's a perfect way to send them across the country in a very short period
They
of
somehow
time.
go past the California border directly from now leaving Florida, now entering California.
Yeah, they're in fucking San Bernardino, fucking gunning it through the streets with their palm trees and desert sands, and there's a scorpion. A brief cameo from Owen Wilson. Oh wait, that's Coen Brothers. A brief cameo from Steve Buscemi. He's a scorpion.
Yeah.
They just go, and they go zooming past, and the Wienermobile goes zooming past, and the cops go zooming past, and then the camera focuses on the scorpion, who turns around and has Steve Buscemi's face. And they capture his eye movements at different times, so they're moving in different directions like a chameleon. And he just looks at the camera. He's like, I tell ya, dog food. And that's
Like,
it. That's the whole
hey,
scene.
all, remember that movie Rango about that lizard with the Hawaiian shirt who I guess was a sheriff or some shit? Was I in that? I don't remember.
I like that movie. I like Rango.
Was he in that? I don't remember.
I can't remember. All I remember is that I enjoyed it. I thought that I think it aged very well, considering how early, that movie was a while ago. It aged very well, and the bad guy of that movie had the coolest fucking idea ever. The bad guy was a rattlesnake, and his rattle was made of several sizes of revolver cylinders.
Oh, I do remember that.
And he used it as a Gatling gun. It was
kinda cool.
rad. It was rad as shit. But anyway, Steve Buscemi is killed by that snake. Steve Buscemi scorpion is killed by that snake. And they move on, and they're screaming through the California state line, which turns out is on top of the Hollywood mountain. And there's this big whoa as they go ramping off the H into the valley.
They go ramping off a letter that isn't in the Hollywood.
Yeah, they ramp off a cool S.
Yeah.
Cool as the size of a Hollywood letter is great. That is definitely one point that we cannot bend on, folks.
Yeah.
When this goes to the talks with the suits, we gotta have the cool S on the Hollywood. So they go ramping off that whoa, and they go flying into the ocean. they land in the ocean, and the Wienermobile skids to a halt. And all the cops are like, they all skid to a halt too. And then Paul Giamatti gets out of his car and he's like, son, there's something I didn't tell you. His Glock goes off a few times, and then all the police officers. Police brutality joke here, and then they're sailing off into sea because the evil bus.
There's a scene.
Is part U-boat.
Well, there's a scene where you think you're safe from the Paul Giamatti bot for a while because he's actually taken into police custody at one point.
Oh, I like this.
And they're escorting him down the hall. He's cuffed, and they're acting like he seems subdued. And a quick shot establishes that in his handcuffed robot mitts, they didn't bother to remove the Glock. They didn't confiscate that from him at the point of his arrest. And with the same music from the scene in Silence of the Lambs, or whichever, actually I think it's in Red Dragon, when Hannibal escapes his little like square cage cell by murdering those guards, when he tricks them into coming in and he handcuffs the one guy to the whatever the music is that plays in that scene plays as like the escorting like 4 officers that are surrounding the Paul Giamatti Asimo robot that's still armed with its Glock round a corner in the station and begin to descend a flight of stairs. And then it just cuts away because you know what happens next.
Yes. And as it cuts away, we find out the evil bus was actually part U-boat. And
like that fucking spy car game.
Spy car game.
What was that called?
I know what you're talking about.
Spy Hunter.
Cars 2?
Was that? Yeah, Spy Hunter.
I have no idea what it's called because I didn't
Spy
own
Hunter.
it. My younger brother did.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a spy car game. You play it as a spy car.
And it turned into a boat.
Yeah, it could do spy
It
things.
could do what turned into a boat on it. And anyway, so they're U-boating through the Pacific Ocean, and they're setting a course. Oh, Sprinkles, set a course for Alaska. Gosh, and I've set a course for Alaska, one of the most desolate places I've ever had the misfortune of going. He's like, oh, you've been to Alaska before? He's like, I did in a previous life, and then they have this really extended fucking flashback sequence where you find out that Sprinkles was actually just Werner Herzog in his last life, and he was doing Grizzly Man 2. And he gets et, and the worst part is he gets et by a puma. He doesn't even get et by a bear. And so the puma, using its feline energies, created the new Werner Herzog in the form of Sprinkles.
So fucking funny. Grizzly Man 2.
The puma leaps at him, and then like he recoils in fear, screaming. And then the fusion shit from DBZ happens, and then he's just the cat, and that's how the cat came to be.
I had to walk. I was doomed to walk to Earth as a freak. That is until I met you, John. I knew the kindness in your heart would not fail me. There's so many others were cruel. You were kind. And John Eder's like, oh, these pizza rolls are hot. He made pizza rolls.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie,
He doesn't care about Werner.
spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, they do make it to Alaska,
And they go up the creek, up the titular creek.
And the curse on the Herzog cat is reversed, and they are separated again. And then the puma immediately resumes its attack on him and kills him.
Well, that's what happens. See, what happens is they go up the titular creek of Heder. Creek out of Heder. Mm-hmm. He goes up Juneau Creek, the world's most famous Alaskan river. He goes up there and finds his way into the wilderness. And he thinks he's made it. And him and Sprinkles, they start setting up the bus to be survivor-ish. They fill it with poisonous berries. Mm-hmm. Like that asshole.
I'm an obnoxious hippie kid here. I'm not going to misinterpret the survival manual. Oh, no.
So they fill it with poisonous berries and water that gives you diarrhea.
It's labeled as such.
And like they're doing all this to like a fucking what is it, montage music. Mm-hmm. This is my bid, but Beer, if you have a better idea. Thinking like that the song that plays in Ice Age 1 where it's like
Oh yeah, that's everyone hates that song. Everyone hates that song. It has to be that song. Everyone hates it. Nobody likes that. It's awful, objectively.
And so they finally get the place all set up, ready to survive in the wilderness, and that's when Paul Giamatti comes up the creek as well. Dun, 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 he arrives in the Wiener Sub. After he escaped the police, he's like, I escaped the police! That's how Paul Giamatti sounds.
Yeah.
And then he surprises John Heder, and then nothing happens. He's like, Dad, why were you chasing me? He's like, I didn't really have an end game for this. I don't want to kill you. You're my son. I don't know why I was chasing you on a murderous rampage across the United States.
And then he's like, I think, John, perhaps there was a mistake. And he's like, oh, fuck, a cat! And we have a Matrix-style bullet time. is flying towards him. All the while, that one song from Cowboy Bebop starts playing.
Oh, the
with the children singing.
That's
the
a great
song.
one.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Oh man, I used to have that shit on my iPad.
As fucking
iPod.
John Heder
Wow.
dives in front of his faithful Sprinkles cat. He dives in front to take the bullet for his friend, but he and he fucking takes it. He takes a bullet right in the shoulder. Where, as we all know, John Heder has very thick shoulders. He lifts a lot.
He's got Joestar shoulders.
For this one scene, and this scene only in the movie, like right when he's in front of the bullet, it's clearly Adam Driver with his massive shoulders, dressed exactly like John Heder with a very fake wig over his regular hair. And then after the bullet hits him in the shoulder and he lands from the impact of the bullet, he's John Heder again. And Adam Driver is uncredited, by the way. He's credited, because it's a Coen Brothers movie, he's credited as the fucking Prince symbol.
Yeah.
So anyway, this unabashed act of selfless kindness on the part of John Heder, taking a bullet for his dear cat friend, Sprinkles starts to glow.
And that's when the curse is broken.
That's when the curse is lifted, and it becomes Werner Herzog and a puma again.
And the puma
He's like,
immediately...
John, you saved me. Oh my goodness.
This is stock sound effects of like the most stereotypical stock puma sound effect ever. That exact panther noise that Taylor just did a good impression of.
They use the shitty CG puma from that Into the Wild or something.
No, wait, Into the Wild is the I know what you're talking about.
It's like that dog movie.
Yeah.
What had a dog in it?
Oh my god.
And the trailer gives away the whole thing. It had a puma.
I really
in it.
wish we wrote down the name of that movie.
I could find it here. This is what it was called. The movie is called A Dog's Way Home. That's what it was. See? In that movie, it has that exact same puma.
That CGI puma that just rips the soul from your body. It's so terrible. And that's the puma that kills.
It rips the soul from Werner Herzog.
At that point, the robot, Paul Giamatti Asimo, just turns directly to the camera and says, "Werner Herzog's dead." The end. And then the credits roll.
What's the song that plays during the credits, B-Rai?
Well, that would be like. What would be like? That would be "Prison Sex" by Tool.
Perfection.
Yeah.
I love it.
At the end of that song and all the credits, there's a post-credit scene where Paul Giamatti on his Asimov body. That sounds like a band name. Paul Giamatti and the Asimov body.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, they're like walking back to their Wienermobile when they see the ghost of the puma swirling through
the puma didn't die.
It died off screen.
Only Werner Herzog died.
All the bullets that Paul Giamatti had been firing that were chasing the bus finally catch up to the bus, but the puma was in the way. So all this stuff happens, and then the puma is just like just riddled with like 30 bullets,
like Apocalypse Now. With the machine guns.
Oh my god!
So the soul of the shredded puma has been released and swirls throughout the atmosphere, and then goes into the nearest empty vessel, the Asimov body of Paul Giamatti.
Oh my god.
So now...
He didn't die either.
Well, the Asimov body doesn't have a soul in it.
It has Paul Giamatti's soul in it.
No, his soul's in his head. He's just controlling it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now the body is piloted by the puma. The murderous intent is doubled. So that sets up the sequel, Outta Heder 2, Puma with a Gun.
I like it.
And Paul Giamatti says, "Now I can shoot people without having to fall down the stairs."
That's right.
It's got the
cat
the
always
cat
lands on its feet.
It doesn't fall down the stairs.
It's
got the cat-like agility.
The perfect version of himself.
The perfect.
Oh, I like it.
That's what we use in the trailer.
Outta Heder 2, Perfect Daddy.
I feel like I took an edible.
Yes, I assure all of you, dear listeners, We did not do any drugs. There's no carbon monoxide leak
That we're aware of.
That we're aware of. I'm pretty sure we have an alarm that would be beeping. But I did turn it off at one point because the beeping of it was just really annoying and it made my head hurt a lot.
That explains quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. So we might be dying.
Well, I wanted to talk about something before we end. That's something I mentioned in the last episode and never followed up on.
Oh, yeah, like you do.
There's something awful that, well, you didn't let me because y'all screamed about weird shit until we ended the episode.
You talked about Skyrim for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
As I just sat there confused at what the fuck is a hissap.
Yeah.
His Balls McGee will tell you so.
Go ahead, tell your thing. Get out of the way, B.R.I.
His sap is the sap of these sentient trees.
I know what it is.
Yeah,
what was the thing you forgot?
No, so the thing I forgot, I mentioned somethingawful.com. Well, recently Ada and I suffered a debilitating letdown, a disappointment in one of our favorite performers, the voice of Early Kyler, the protagonist of Squidbillies, Unknown Henson, went off on Twitter and made a giant ass of himself and was appropriately fired by Adult Swim, and it was really disappointing. And I faced a double whammy recently because it seems that my favorite website, Something Awful, that I've loved for more than half my life now, and is a constant source of goofy shit, and the articles on there are a major source to my brand of what can be called my attempts at comedy writing. Seems like it might be going away because Lotax, the founder, had like a domestic violence allegation against him. He's been on a weird downward spiral for a while.
Yeah.
People have been kind of concerned about him for a while because there was that goon meetup where he was passed out on the couch after taking a bunch of Xanax and drinking an entire bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And he's just he's had a lot of problems. But he's also periodically posted really funny articles that I guess he wrote. So people are like, maybe you still got it because it's really fucking funny, this thing he wrote. And I'm pretty sure that god-awful flag thing was him. And that was encouraging. And then you find out he's apparently a domestic abuser, which is not good. And I saw a post a while back that said something like, please pardon our dust while Something Awful transitions to like new owners or something. And I didn't think anything of it because they say goofy shit all the time and it's just never unsubstantiated. It's unsubstantiated. It's never substantiated. And then I noticed that like the last update, and like Something Awful updates fairly recently, regularly. Fucking up my words left and right here.
Probably all the carbon monoxide. That's
Probably, yeah.
There's a lot of it in here, I'm pretty sure. That beeper has been off a while.
Yeah.
But they update fairly regularly, and like the last update was like early July. And that's very unlike them. Usually there would have been like 10 or so updates since then by now. And I Googled it, and on Reddit there's all this stuff about how like all the forum users over at Something Awful call themselves goons.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of goons are now like setting up private discords to continue basically their forums because the house that Lotax built is fallen down, sinking into the swamp like some Poe nightmare.
Sinking into an Alaskan creek?
Yeah, sinking into an Alaskan creek. So if that's true and if those things are substantiated, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in Lotax. I was always... My fandom of Lotax has had an asterisk next to it for a while because I've been concerned about his behavior.
Yeah.
So it's not like I've unabashedly given him the pass this entire time. I've kind of been like, are you okay?
You doing all right?
Are you losing it or are you still got it?
Yeah.
And it appears he's lost it because once you start hurting people, if that's true, and we should believe it because the allegations are credible. Then once you start hurting people, you're done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, anyway, that was a bad thing. That happened.
Was a bad thing.
Sorry to leave you all on a downer. Just remember to look out for Crank Outta Heder 2. The Puma now has a gun. I forget what I called it already. Bye.
Now even you know I am a menace. I hand you the secrets to save the entire human race and the entire universe.